Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 9. My name is Xavier Robert, coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ethiopia. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Buhari signs Counseling Practitioners Council Bill. 8 others into law. Federal government adjudges Nigerian military successful in neutralizing bandits, terrorists, kidnappers. Zelensky meets IAEA team over Ukraine nuclear plant. Details of these stories and more in a moment. We begin the news tonight with a report that President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the bill to establish the Counseling Practitioners Council of Nigeria into law. The president also gave assent to 8 other significant bills. A statement issued by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, House of Representatives, Nasser Babaleila, stated that the council was charged with the responsibility of advancing the study, training, and practice of counseling profession, determine the standard of knowledge and skill to be attained by persons seeking to become registered members of the counseling profession, and review the standard as circumstances may require, establish and maintain in accordance with the provisions of this Act a register of certified members of the profession and the publication of the list of such members. In another development, President Muhammadu Buhari has met with state governors elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress at the State House, Abuja. Those present included Governors Abubakar Bagudu of Kebbi, Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos, Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti, Abubakar Badaru of Jigawa, Dapo Biaudun of Ogun, Abubakar Bello of Niger, Inuwa Yahaya of Gombe, and Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State, as well as the Deputy Governor of Ebonyi State, Eric Igwe. The governors, however, declined to disclose the issues discussed at the meeting to newsmen. In a related development, President Muhammadu Buhari has today in Abuja told Nigerians that in 6 months, they would appreciate the governing party, the All Progressives Congress APC. Buhari said APC under his leadership will continue to respect Nigerians by ensuring that their votes count and the people's voice matter in choosing political leaders at different levels. The president, who received members of the Progressive Governors Forum PGF, led by Chairman and Governor of Kebbi State Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, at the State House, noted that non-interference in elections give credence to the political process, ensures participation and inclusiveness, and shows that the governing party respects the electorate. Meanwhile, Vice President STVNg has observed that Nigeria needs to act fast on critical issues like the economy and the ongoing strike of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. The Vice President stated this as he received the All Progressives Congress governors in his office at the presidential villa on a felicitation visit as he recovered from surgery done last month. While welcoming the governors, STVNg expressed his appreciation for the visit and the good wishes. He also commended the expertise of Nigerian doctors and the availability of cutting-edge medical facilities in the country. STVNg, however, regretted that doctors were restrained by regulations from advertising, and as a result, many people were unaware of the level of quality medical services available locally. In the meantime, Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed has announced that the Nigerian military has recorded successes in neutralizing bandits, terrorists, and kidnappers in the country. Mohammed stated this while urging media practitioners to intensify efforts prioritizing national interests in discharging their constitutional professional duties. He also alleged that the marching order given by the president to security agents to hunt, pursue, and speak to terrorists had started yielding positive results. The minister made the call today in Kano at the opening of a two-day national conference on culture, peace, and national security, the role of the media, organized by the National Institute for Cultural Orientation. Mohammed was represented by the Director, International Cultural Relations in the ministry, Maimuna Idullah. Away from that, the federal government is insisting on hiring private contractors to man its oil pipeline network nationwide, saying it is the right decision to make. The Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, Mele Kyari, said this to journalists when he appeared at the 49th session of the State House briefing organized by the Presidential Communications Team at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Kyari argued that although the security agencies were doing their part, end-to-end pipeline surveillance would require the involvement of private entities and community stakeholders. He also accused government officials, religious leaders, security agencies, and some NNPC staff of benefiting from the theft of the nation's crude oil, maintaining that the menace involved every member of the society. The NNPC chief stated that wherever the stolen product was found, mostly in churches and mosques, there had been a network of vandals working in collaboration. He noted that the entire network of pipelines for petroleum products distribution in the country had been shut down as a result of the activities of vandals. In education, the National Universities Commission and the National Open University of Nigeria have graduated the fifth set of participants in the series of capacity-building activities to strengthen the implementation of the 2019 to 2023 blueprint on the rapid revitalization of university education in Nigeria. The training program is one of the thrusts of the Rashid Revolution in the Nigerian university system. Module 5 of the training, which was conducted between July 18 and August 29, 2022, was on the theory and practice of strategic planning and was designed to reposition Nigerian universities for the delivery of quality education through the implementation of well-designed strategic plans. In the meantime, the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC, Mele Kyari, has announced that 122 persons have been arrested for oil theft between April and August 2022. He also said government operatives had discovered at least 295 illegal connections tethered to a 200-kilometer stretch of pipeline. He said the situation impeded the production capacity of the company across several fronts. Kyari stated this at the 49th session of the State House briefing organized by the Presidential Communications Team at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. To the judiciary now, where Justice Muslim Hassan of the Ibadan Division of the Court of Appeal, Oyo State, has nullified the 20 billion naira exemplary and aggravated damages awarded to Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho, against the Department of State Security. The court also set aside the judgment that declared the attack on Igboho's house illegal, describing the award for damages against the DSS as outrageous. In his ruling, Justice Hassan said the Oyo State High Court had ignored the grounds for the case in acquiring jurisdiction and that the judge should not have decided on the award of damages based on his own preferences. Still in the judiciary, a federal high court in Abuja has imposed a 1 million naira fine on the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) over the unlawful invasion of an Abuja-based company. The company, Faisal Nigeria Limited, located at Plot 792 Cadastral Zone, Industrial Estate, Idu, Abuja, was forcefully invaded by operatives of the EFCC earlier this year without any justifiable reason. Justice Inyang, in a judgment in a suit instituted against EFCC, held that the anti-graft agency acted in breach of the constitutional rights of the plaintiff in the way the company was invaded by fully armed operatives of EFCC. Specifically, the judge held that EFCC breached sections 36, 37, 40, 43, and 44 by sealing up the company without any just cause. The court thereafter granted an order of injunction against EFCC, restraining it, its officials, agents, and privies from disturbing, intimidating, harassing, and arresting any staff or any worker of the company. Justice Akor said the action of the anti-graft agency amounted to a violation of the rights of the plaintiff to own property as enshrined in Section 43 of the 1999 Constitution. He proceeded to award a cost of 1 million naira against EFCC to be paid to the plaintiff for the infringements of its constitutional rights. Meanwhile, the victim of the alleged organ harvesting scandal involving Senator Ike Ekweremadu and his wife Beatrice today asked a federal high court in Abuja to set aside its July 1 order for the release of his biodata for use in a London court in Ekweremadu's trial. Faulting proceedings of the court that had led to the issuance of the order, David Ukpo claimed that his fundamental rights to a fair hearing and personal privacy had been grossly breached. His grouse was that neither he nor the Attorney General of the Federation, as Chief Law Officer of the Federation, was made a party in this suit. In a motion on notice filed through his lawyer, Bamidele Ibenadion, Ukpo prayed Justice Inyang to reverse the order permitting the release of his biodata to Ekweremadu and his wife for their defense before Uxbridge Magistrate Court. Defendants in the motion bordering on the alleged breach of fundamental rights, National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, Controller General, Nigeria Immigration Service, Stanbic IBTC Bank, United Bank for Africa, and Nigeria Interbank Settlement System. Elsewhere, a federal high court in Abuja has dismissed the fresh bail application filed by the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari. In a ruling, Justice Emeka Nwite held that Kyari had not given sufficient grounds for the application to be granted. The judge said the detained police officer failed to raise new facts in his latest application after being denied the earlier bail request. Nwite consequently adjourned the matter until October 19, 20, and 21 for trial continuation. In another development, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has read out a riot act to local airline operators in the country over 19 billion naira in debts. The Director General of the authority, Captain Musa Nuhu, threatened that the aviation regulator will not hesitate to suspend the certificates of air operators defaulting airlines. He was speaking at a briefing in Lagos with members of the airline operators of Nigeria and ground handlers. Nuhu alleged that airline operators were painting government agencies black over their current woes. He said any indebted airline had to enter into a memorandum of understanding for payment, noting that any airline that defaults 3 times will have its certificate suspended. Away from that, the apex regulatory body of marketing, communications, advertising practitioners, Council of Nigeria (APCON), has announced the signing of the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria (ACON) bill into law and the change of name to ACON. The identity change coincided with the body's ban on the use of foreign models and voice-over artists on Nigerian advertising materials. Speaking at a media briefing, Arkan's Director General, Dr. Lekon Fadolapo, said the new Arkan Act puts the regulatory body in good stead to carry out its duties since it takes care of gaps in former Arkan Act. He identified one of such gaps as the control of new media and online advertisement, which he believed was not taken care of in the Arkan Act. Further speaking of the ban of foreign models and voiceover artists on the advertising media space from October 1, the Arkan chief described the decision as in tune with government's policy of developing local talents and the need to take actions aimed at growing Nigeria's advertising space.
Recently, there was a judgment by the High Court which says only APCON should regulate the advertising space. So there are specializations, there are division of labors. Where there are overlap function, this act is saying that notwithstanding the provisions in any other act, because we know that some other acts gives power to regulate advertising, but their remit is limited to their industry. But this gives us a broadening omnibus power over advertising space across industry, across markets. And revoke license issued to all categories of agencies, advertisement agencies under this act. We have power to monitor and enforce sanctions on anybody, any person or organization that sponsor, expose, or cause to be exposed in Nigeria any advertisement, advertising, and marketing communication materials without prior approval of the advertising standard panel. We have power to investigate and compel public and private organizations to produce advertising and marketing communication related information. Before now, we don't have data. If we continue to have models from other markets, then that means that we are having capital flight. We have over 200 million faces or models in Nigeria. Each and every one of us, naturally, we are models. Even if we have not chosen that, we have over 200 voices in our country. Are you saying none of those voices is good enough to market a product? That we need to import voice from other countries to market, develop communications that will sell to the Nigerians. Before, it will be, what is your limit and why are you going there? But now, the law says we have the right for the preservation of Nigerian local content and use of indigenous skills as an important element in advertising, advertisement, and marketing communication services.
Now, in politics, Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi has urged Nigerians in diaspora to play their roles in holding the Nigerian government accountable. He said, aside from the constitutional rights of voting, the people's sacred role was also to hold elected government accountable for ensuring desired development. In a series of tweets, the former Anambra State governor also said Nigeria needed visionary leadership to get it right. He also urged Nigerians overseas to exploit their network and numbers to place pressing issues on the agenda of the candidates and subsequently on the front burner for the new government that will be formed in 2023. On security matters now, the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, has said over 216 illegal refining sites have been deactivated in the last 5 months. Gambo, who spoke to newsmen, said more than 41 million liters of diesel, equivalent to 27 billion naira, were saved as a result of naval operations in the period under review. He said Operation Dakar de Barao also discovered over 2,920 metal storages and over 145 wooden boats that were destroyed during the period under review. Gambo also confirmed the arrest of super ships loading oil within Nigeria's space without license, saying such ships will be prosecuted by the federal government through the AGF's office. Still on security, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC Kwara State Command has arrested 2 suspected railway line vandals and 3 alleged house breakers. Parading the suspects at the NSCDC's headquarters in Ilorin today, the spokesperson Ayeni Olasunkami disclosed that the railway line vandals were arrested by operatives of the command. He said the vandals Wahid Ganiyu, 22, and Majib Afalabi, 24, both residents of Ganmo area near Ilorin metropolis, were arrested while vandalizing railway line along Obondoroko area in Asa local government area of the state. Reports say the 3 other suspects arrested for alleged housebreaking are Shehu Nuruddin, who reportedly burgled a house along Wara Lubkon area of Ilorin, the state capital. According to the spokesperson, Shehu burgled the house and sold the stolen items, which included laptops, wristwatches, and phones, among other valuables, to 2 receivers, Abdul Wahab Mustafa and Isia. To Lagos State now, where the government, through the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, LAMATA, has commenced the pilot phase of the use of buses powered by compressed natural gas (CNG) for passenger operations on Marina CMS to Lekki and Ajaikbe bus routes. The measure was in a bid to reduce tailpipe emission into the atmosphere by public transport buses. Managing Director Lamata Abimbola Akinajo, who disclosed this, said under the pilot phase, 10 high-occupancy vehicles would be deployed for the service. Akinajo explained that the operation, franchised to a bus operating company named Femadec, will progressively increase the number of buses to 100 after data had proven the sustainability of the use of CNG. In Anambra, some members of Nkerehi community in Orumba South local government area of Anambra State have rejected the change of their community's name from Nkerehi to Umuchukwu. The protesters, who were at the government house Oka to bring their grouses to the knowledge of the state governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, said they have been in bondage in their own land. They alleged that a certain influential member of their community was using his wealth to intimidate many members of the community, including unilaterally changing the name of the community from Nkerehi to Umuchukwu. The protesters, who were led by Basio Igwike and the Secretary General of Nkerehi Progressive Union, Joseph Anunobi, begged Soludo to intervene in the crisis rocking the community. Igwike, who addressed government officials while being received alongside the protesters at the government house, lamented that besides clandestinely changing the name of the town, the traditional stool of the community has been cornered for one family, even though it is not hereditary. Away from that, a 3-story building has collapsed in the Beirut Road area of Kano metropolis. Some persons are believed to be trapped underneath the rubble, but emergency workers had arrived at the scene on a rescue operation. Ikobre recalled that last Friday, another 3-story building had also collapsed in Kubwa satellite town, Abuja, killing 2 persons. Back here, police in Akwa Ibom State have banned the activities of masquerades across the state. In a statement, Police Public Relations Officer Odiko Magdan said the ban became necessary following violent and lawless actions of masqueraders, leading to murders, threats to lives, assaults, and other breaches of fundamental rights. He noted that the police department had scrapped a curfew imposed by masquerades in the Mbarikot Abasi and Mbarikot Idiongo villages in Uyo. According to the police spokesman, the curfew imposed by the masquerade infringed on the fundamental rights of the people to freedom of association and movement. Similarly, the Commissioner of Police in the state, Olatoye Durosimi, warned that anyone who flouted the ban would face the wrath of the law. He equally advised law-abiding citizens to go about their activities without fear of molestation. Still to come in the news. Baltic Exchange Dry Index down for fourth session. Please stay with us.
Elections in Nigeria is characterized by fraud.
It is not pure election because of the way they conduct it.
The elections are here again. For us in Akwa Ibom State, it is another opportunity to elect credible and potential leaders.
But I see some of them are not really credible.
In fact, when you talk about the credibility in the Nigerian system, it's absent.
As for the aspirants, what are your plans to better the lives of citizens and ensure that it is not just another era of political promises?
Some aspirants came up with so childish kind of manifesto, something that you know that they cannot do.
Even if after campaigning and promising heaven and earth, you find out that by the time they come in, they cannot do 50% of what they promised.
Because they are coming to see this. If they don't use this, they will not achieve what they want. So it is the normal thing they must use to convince a man that does not have the proper ideology to vote them.
So it's just a mere slogan. It's just a mere slogan to use and have their right into power.
What do you, the people, think about the elections?
The electoral process has been marred by malpractice and all of that.
That's a bad thing in Nigeria. All for election night, you have about money.
Definitely, no matter what the reforms they are carrying out, they will still be rigging.
It's about the aspirants, the manifesto, the people's view, and in-depth analysis.
That godfatherism is what has eaten deep into our political system. It has become a cankerworm that has left our political system into a corrupt system.
If it is not godfatherism, somebody like me, I will become the counselor. So because I don't have a godfather, it will not work.
Because people feel that they will come and invest, they need to get something back home. So the major aim is not about the people, it's about their family and themselves.
Godfatherism will not help the politics to grow. It won't help democracy to grow.
Vote buying will even be more this time around because these people, most of them have stolen a lot of money and they will use this money to buy votes.
Who gets to represent you in government at all levels?
Well, for me, the new breed aspirants, I would love the new breed aspirants. But for those, there are some of them that will not, I would say, definitely, I wouldn't want them to come back definitely to power.
Join us on Akwa Ibom Decides every Saturday and Sunday by 3 p.m. each day, exclusive to Spectrum Television, as we take on the aspirants set to lead you.
Thanks for staying tuned. Moving on now to Africa, where Tigrayan rebels say they intend to advance further into neighboring regions of northern Ethiopia, but were still open to peace talks after fighting erupted last week. The government of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and the Tigray People's Liberation Front (TPLF) have each blamed the other for unleashing the renewed hostilities in areas bordering the southeastern tip of Tigray. TPLF spokesman Getachew Reda said at a press conference broadcast online that they were fighting a defensive war, adding that the rebels will remain open for negotiations. Residents as well as diplomatic and humanitarian sources have said in recent days TPLF fighters have pushed about 50 kilometers south from Tigray into Amhara, as well as to the southeast into Afar, sending many people fleeing. Still in Africa, a plan by the government of the Central African Republic to allow foreigners acquire citizenship and land using a new cryptocurrency has been ruled as unconstitutional by the country's top court. Recall that last month, the government had launched Sango Coin amid a sharp fall in Bitcoin prices and doubts over the project's viability in a country with poor internet connection and destabilized by conflict. Sales of the initial $21 million on offer have been slow, with just over 5% of the target bought in the hours after its launch on 21st July. Meanwhile, a 7-judge bench has begun hearing petitions seeking to overturn the election of William Ruto as Kenya's president-elect. Led by Chief Justice Martha Koome, the judges struck out 2 petitions and consolidated 7 others because they raised similar issues and sought the same orders. The court also rejected 3 applications, including a request by Ruto, who sought to bar the Law Society of Kenya from the case. The court has set out 9 issues of determination that will shape the final ruling set to be delivered on September 5. Away from that, African countries have called for an end to a climate injustice, saying the continent causes less than 4% of global carbon dioxide emissions, but pays one of the highest prices for global warming. Government officials, international organizations, NGOs, and the private sector from more than 60 African nations attended the opening of Africa Climate Week in Gabon's capital to prepare for the COP27 UN Climate Conference in Egypt in November. Host President Ali Ondimba told the gathering that the continent had to speak with one voice and offer concrete proposals for COP27. Elsewhere, the first shipment of grain from Ukraine to Africa since the war began has docked at the Red Sea port in Djibouti. The Lebanese-flagged MV Brave Commander is reportedly carrying 23,000 tons of wheat bound for neighboring Ethiopia. It took 2 weeks to travel to Africa from the Black Sea. According to the United Nations World Food Programme, it will take about a week for the wheat to be bagged and taken by road to Ethiopia, where 20 million people are in need of food assistance. On a foreign scene now, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has met a team from the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, in advance of its long-awaited visit to the Russian-occupied Zaporizhia nuclear plant. This is according to a video released by the presidency. Zelensky asked the IAEA mission to reach the plant and do everything possible to avoid the dangers of a nuclear disaster. The site has been targeted by repeated shelling. Still on the foreign scene, Ukraine will request the UN's cultural watchdog to add the historic port of Odessa to its World Heritage list of protected sites as Russia's invasion continues. The agency made the plan known to reporters. It will be recalled that in late July, the city was struck by missiles hours after Russia agreed to allow a shipment of Ukrainian grain exports from the port. After its Director General Audrey Azoulay met Ukraine's Culture Minister Alexander Chachenko in Paris, the UNESCO said part of the glass canopy and windows of the Museum of Fine Arts, inaugurated in 1899, had been destroyed by the raids. It said UNESCO experts already on the ground would provide technical assistance so that Odessa could be urgently added to both the World Heritage list and the list of heritage sites in danger. Meanwhile, Iraq's caretaker Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi has hailed Muqtada al-Assad as a patriot for calling on his supporters to end their protest and refrain from violence that has shaken the capital, Baghdad. The Prime Minister said on Twitter that Sadr's call to end the bloodshed placed a moral duty on all Iraqis to engage in dialogue. Kadhimi wrote that al-Assad's call to stop violence was the epitome of patriotism and respect to the sanctity of Iraqi blood. And now it's time for the latest business and stock market stories. We have Blyden Ukem standing by.
Thank you, Xavier Roberts. Good evening. It's another business day, and my name is Blyden Ukem. In the news, we begin with commodity market, as Baltic Exchange Dry Index is down for fourth session. The Baltic Dry Index, which measures the cost of shipping goods worldwide, extended losses for the fourth straight session today, falling 6% to an over 2-year low of 1,017 points amid weakness across its vessel segments. The Capesize Index, which tracks iron ore and coal cargoes of 150,000 tons, decreased for the fourth consecutive session, plunging 18% to an over 2-year low of 337 points, pressured by lower Chinese steel consumption, and the Panamax Index, which tracks about 60,000 to 70,000 tons of coal. Grains cargoes continued its month-long decline, falling 6.4% to a near 2-year low of 1,284 points. In Nigeria, Dangote Sugar Refinery, Dangote firm says new sugar projects will cut imports for 40%. The management of Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC said on Monday that it will reduce the importation of sugar into the country by 40% and pave the way for the employment of over 30,000 youth. According to the company, the firm was embarking on phase 2 of its sugar projects, which will cover over 100,000 hectares to make the sugar plants the largest in Africa. Mr. Dangote said the integrated sugar complex, to be located in Tunga in Nasarawa State, comprises 60,000 hectares of sugar plantation and 2 sugar factories with a capacity to produce 430,000 tons of refined white sugar per annum. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Ports Authority (NPS) shipping data revealed that Arius Honor and Ocean Crown would be at Greenview Development Nigeria Limited (GDNL), a subsidiary of Dangote Group, to offload 45,850 tons and 46,750 tons respectively. Following high demand in the food and drink sector, GDNL took delivery of 187,000 tons from 4 vessels in May this year. Still in Nigeria, Nigerian government is set to borrow 9.32 trillion naira for 2023 budget deficit. The federal government would once again depend heavily on domestic and foreign creditors in 2023, as the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed said that next year's budget will have a projected deficit of 12.41 trillion naira. Ahmed explained that the deficit was projected if the government plans to maintain the petroleum subsidy throughout next year. But if the government ends the subsidy payment by June 2023, the budget deficit is estimated at 11.3 trillion naira. She made the projection known to the House of Representatives Committee on Finance while defending the 2023-2025 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper on Monday. Still in Nigeria, Fidelity Bank is set to buy 39-year-old Union Bank UK. Fidelity Bank PLC is finalizing an agreement to buy Union Bank PLC UK. The acquisition will further strengthen Fidelity Bank's push to become a Tier 1 bank in Nigeria. In a corporate filing at the Nigerian Exchange Limited today, Fidelity Bank said the Central Bank of Nigeria had issued no objection to its proposed acquisition of the bank, which commenced London operation in 1983. The transaction was still subject to the approval of the Prudential Regulatory Authority of the United Kingdom. According to Fidelity Bank's Managing Director, Nneka Onyele-Ikpe, the diverse service bouquet and business model of Union Bank UK offered a compelling synergy, adding that Fidelity Bank hopes to build on the existing capacity to create a scalable and more sustainable service franchise. And it's time for the Nigerian stock market report. At the end of today's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the benchmark All-Share Index part 34.06 basis points, a 0.07 percentage drop to close at 49,642.69 points when compared with yesterday's trading day. Today's data shows 46% decline in volume, 41% improvement in turnover, but 6% decline in deals. The current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is 26.8 trillion naira. And in aggregate, 118 listed equities participated in trading, ending with 13 gainers and 13 losers. eTransact International led the gainers with 9.65% share price appreciation, closing at 2 naira 50 kobo per share. On the losing side, Cotvale Business Solutions came out last with an end-of-day price appreciation of 7.69% at 48 kobo per share. Mutual Benefit Assurance recorded the highest volume of 25.3 million traded shares, followed by Fidelity Bank with 10.2 million and Access Holdings with 8.99 million traded shares. This is all on business news, and back to Xavier Robert for the rest of the news.
Many thanks, Blyden. Still to come in the news. Open champion Smith joins Live Golf Series. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying tuned. Now in health, the Nigeria Association of Resident Doctors has said 6 out of 10 doctors in Nigeria plan to leave the country for greener pastures. This is as it said there are only 12,297 resident doctors in both the federal and state tertiary health institutions in the country. The association's president, Dr. Dare Ishaya, who stated these in an interview with journalists, identified the reasons behind the development, saying the push factor was majorly the nation's economy. He expressed disappointment at the devalued rate of the naira while making comparisons of payments made to doctors in the country, in contrast with medical professionals practicing abroad. Still in health, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) has confirmed 5 new cases of the Lassa fever virus in 2 states. The agency, via its official website, stated that the states with the new confirmed infections were Ondo and Edo states. Lassa fever is a viral, hemorrhagic disease that is endemic in some countries of West Africa and is spread by rats. Individuals usually become infected with the illness through exposure to food or household items contaminated with the urine or feces of infected rats, and the virus could also be spread through infected bodily fluids. The NCDC also said since the beginning of the year, a total of 6,392 suspected cases of the viral illness had been recorded in 25 states across 101 local government areas in the country. It's over now to Bright James for trending sports stories.
Thank you, Xavier Robert. Good evening and welcome to the Sports Desk. I am Bright James. We'll begin with golf, where Open champion Cameron Smith has become the highest-ranked player to join the Saudi Arabian-funded Leave Golf Series. The 29-year-old world number 2 has been confirmed in the field for the next Leave tournament in Boston. Smith refused to be drawn on his future after winning the Open, his first major at St Andrews in July. The Australian will be joined in the event from the 2nd to the 4th of September by rising star Joaquin Niemann, the 23-year-old world number 19 from Chile. Players competing in the Leave Series are currently barred from playing the PGA Tour event, although DP World Tour has temporarily lifted suspensions on Leave Golf players. Smith has joined the Leave Series following the culmination of the FedEx Cup, which marks the end of the PGA Tour season. Elsewhere, European captain Luke Donald will have 6 captain picks, twice the amount of his predecessor Petra Harrington, with which to shape his team for the 2023 Ryder Cup against the US in Italy. 6 players will qualify automatically, with that process started with the BMW PGA Championship in early October. Qualification will end there 3 weeks before the next year's Ryder Cup starts. Harrington had 3 wildcards, while his counterpart Steve Stricker had 6 as Europe were thrashed 19-9 last year. New US captain Zach Johnson will have again 6 wildcard picks to C6 to defend the trophy at Marco Simone, the outskirts of Rome, from 29 September to the 1st of October 2023. 3 players will qualify automatically for Donald's team from the European points list, along with the top 3 from the world points list. Elsewhere, Usman Nurmagomedov will challenge Patricky Pitbull Freire for the Bellator world title on 18 November in Chicago. The Russian 24 is the cousin of MMA legend Khabib Nurmagomedov and is undefeated in 15 fights. The contest is one of 2 title fights at Bellator 288, with lightweight champion Vadim Nemkov up against Corey Anderson in their rematch. The winner of Nemkov versus Anderson will pick up $1 million in prize money. Their first fight, which is the final of the light heavyweights Grand Prix, ended in a no contest in April following clashes of heads. In football now, former Brazilian midfielder Willian is close to sealing return to the Premier League with Fulham. The ex-Chelsea and Arsenal player had been playing with Corinthians in the Brazilian league before his contract was terminated by mutual consent after claiming he and his family received death threats on social media. A medical is scheduled with Fulham, and if necessary, the deal could be completed after the transfer window is closed, given Willian's contract status. Willian won 5 trophies, including 2 Premier League titles, during his 7-year spell at Chelsea before joining Arsenal on a 3-year deal in 2020. And that's all from the Sports Desk this evening. I am Bright James. Over now to Beach O'Brien for entertainment news.
Thanks, Bright James. Hello and welcome to the Entertainment Desk. I am Beto Bryan. First on our bulletin this evening, Megan Thee Stallion set to join MCU with role in Marvel's She-Hulk. Rapper Megan Thee Stallion has been cast in the Marvel series She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, according to the court on Monday. What role the Grammy winner will be playing and when she will appear on the Disney Plus show remains unclear. The show kicked off in August and the 2 Megan-less episodes have already arrived. She'd appear somewhere in the span of the remaining 7 episodes. The Savage and the Big Ole Frick singer previously guest starred on the star drama P-Valley. She is also set to star in the musical comedy film F Identical Twins. She-Hulk is a comedy series that follows Jennifer Walters' Orphan Black's Titania Malisnan as she navigates life as a lawyer and superpowered Hulk, Mark Ruffalo, Benedict Wong, Tim Roth, Ginger Gonzaga, Josh Sagara, Jamil, Carly Cox, John Baz, and Renee Ellis. Goldsberry also in the cast on the new episodes to drop on Thursday. Away from that, Wizkid's maiden Lagos RIA Gold certification makes African history. Ayodeji Balogun, popularly known as Wizkid, has added another colorful feather to his decorated hat after his 2020 album Made in Lagos was certified gold in the United States. This giant stride earns Wizkid the singular honor of being the only Nigerian and African artist to have his album sell above 500,000 copies in the United States. As expected, both fans, admirers, colleagues, and media personalities have showered Mr. Ayo Wizkid Balogun with praises for once again putting Nigeria and Africa on the map while also setting the pace for other artists. The role of Essence, it is easily divisible that American popularity of Made in Lagos is driven by the hugely successful song Essence, which enjoyed US success. Essence the Remix featured an American pop star, Justin Bieber, peaked at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 and is a 2-time platinum song. With the certification of Made in Lagos, Nigerian fans will be hoping that another album can follow in these steps and enjoy international success as Afrobeats continues to soar internationally. And lastly, from the Entertainment Desk, Joke Silva refutes death rumors about her husband, Olu Jacob. Nigerian movie icon Olu Jacobs is not dead. This is according to his wife, Joke Silva, who released a statement via her Instagram story on Monday, August 29, 2022. She said to all those who decided to flaunt the last warning regarding the fake news to kindly prepare for legal actions. She says it will not be the first time she would need to debunk the rumors of her husband's death. It will be recalled that in 2021, the actress in an exclusive interview debunked the reports and deaths and clarified that the veteran actor was alive and doing well. And that's our package from the Entertainment Desk this evening. I'm Beto Bryan, thanking you for watching. Over to Xavier Roberts.
That's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 9. My name is Xavier Robert. Do have a terrific night rest. Good night.